The She Club podcast welcomes all women into a supportive space where we delve into real-life experiences, self-care, conquering challenges, and the multifaceted roles we embrace. Here, authenticity and vulnerability are encouraged. Every Sunday, join us for our Self-Care Sunday She Chat as we engage with our listeners and viewers, sharing practical tips for navigating daily life while nurturing ourselves. Our aim is to embrace women to become remarkable individuals who make a positive impact on the world. The She Club podcast. Join us as we honor ourselves and each other.
Hey, what's up, Melisha?
Hello and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everybody watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are the She Club podcast. Yes, I'm Latasha Harris.
And I'm Alicia Bailey.
And we are here to give you the ABCs of life. Come on now, second season. Yes, we're here.
Second season. I am excited. Last season was amazing. And this season is just going, this season is going to be even better with the ABCs of business. I think we're going to be able to help ourselves and help other women entrepreneurs learn what it takes and or the steps that they need to build their businesses, whether you're starting from the ground up or you're seasoned already. We believe we have tips that are going to help you on your entrepreneur or business journey.
Yeah, so first season, we did the ABCs of life where we spoke about just daily living, daily growth in your walk, understanding yourself, doing the work from inside to out, and loving yourself, right? Everything was about self-care, and this too is about self-care. But this season is the ABCs of business. As Melisha stated, we are going to give you A through Z about how you can take your entrepreneurship to another level. And all of the things that start, or maybe some of the things that you never even thought about that are very, very important, being that I'm an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, and so is Melisha. So we are bringing you our experience. We're bringing you some research. We're bringing you the do's and the don'ts that we've learned on our own and how to grow your business.
Yeah, that's what it's about. And so with this, the first letter of the alphabet, which is A, we're going to be talking about accounting and bookkeeping today, which is a subject that I have very little knowledge on. So but I'm going to learn with you, and I'm going to take my notes and dissect what can help me as I continue to grow my business. So especially with accounting and bookkeeping, I don't know how it can be challenging, don't you think?
Absolutely. So we talk about accounting for the first letter of business, and accountability was the first letter of life,
Yes,
so accountability, accounting goes hand in hand, because accounting is being accountable for your money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where is your money going? How are you spending your money? What's coming in? What's going out? So accounting is a huge step as you begin to start your business. And it doesn't matter if you're making money or not. You need to understand your money. You need to understand the numbers that go into your business. What is your ROI? What are you trying to get? So when you do get that money, you're not scrambling and you're not blowing your money, and you're being you're being a good steward of your business. So accounting can be stressful. It really can, because a lot of people don't like numbers. They don't like math. Back in the day where you had to balance a checkbook, right? That was part of school. When I was growing up, we had to learn how to balance your checkbook. So accounting and numbers can be hard. But before we get into that, let's talk about these drinks. Okay, so we have something else special going on. Oh, I love that glass. Okay, honey, bring it.
I didn't drink half of it. I started off, I took just a sip. So no, I didn't drink all half of it.
Okay, so we are also adding something to our podcast and to our into our branding. We drink, so we're doing a drink of the week, and it's going to follow the alphabet. And today, what is the drink that we made, Melisha?
I believe it's Amber Sunset.
It is Amber Sunset. So Amber Sunset. Yeah, Amber Sunset actually is a drink that me and Melisha already drink. It's called a couple different things. It puts you in the mind of like a margarita, but we
Mhm.
added orange juice. So inside the inside the caption, we're going to put a link to this drink. We're going to put all of the ingredients there so you can make it next time. Our goal is to create this A through Z cocktail book with some mocktails. So as you watch us, you can follow along with your drink. So cheers, Melisha, to the happy
Cheers,
new
Tasha.
year.
I miss
Cheers.
you. Happy New Year to you, my
Happy
dear.
New Year. Yes, yes, yes. So we want to get started, but we want to just touch on what I want to touch on a little bit.
Okay.
First of all, and tell you thank you, Melisha, for coming to Bali with me. So as you know, last season I spoke about Heal and Hustle Retreat. Well, that was in November, and now we're in January. So we did it. It was absolutely amazing.
It
There
was.
was 13, 14 women who all came together and loved on each other and supported each other and helped each other grow in so many different ways. And Melisha was one of those women that came to support. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for being my co-pilot, my co-host, my co-partner in a lot of the things that I do. So thank you. I appreciate you.
It was my pleasure. And I just have to say, Tasha, I was telling your mom what an amazing job you did facilitating that retreat. And so, if you, I mean, you just went beyond the call of duty for every woman that was there, and you nurtured and you poured into them. Plus, you took care of all their bookings. You booked all their stuff, and you were
Yeah.
the travel agent, and you were the hostess with the mostest. So I appreciate what you did. You did an amazing, amazing job. So I'm going to salute you. I told your mom what a wonderful, wonderful, amazing retreat it was. So I don't think I will be at the next one. We'll see. But I wish you. And now we won't go there. But I'm praying blessings upon blessings, because what you're
Yes.
doing is helping women and helping peoples, and
Yes. It
you're
was.
changing the environment. You
Mhm.
changed Bali. They probably will never
Yeah.
be the same with you being now that you're gone. So
Well, that is definitely a second home to me. I appreciate all of my Bali network, all of my family and friends in Bali that helped put this together. There's so many different people that played a part in making Heal and Hustle a success. For my inaugural retreat, I'm still kind of stunned when I think about what went into it and what I got out. You know, they say what you put into something is what you're going to get out. And I put my all in, and I do feel like I got my all out of it. And I feel like I touched a lot of people's lives. So
you
I'm
did.
excited. So the next one is also in November 2025, which I'm kind of changing gears. There's actually two. So the first one is focusing on grieving mothers, being that I'm a grieving mom and that I lost my son. I'm really focusing on women who need that support. Losing a child is like no other. And a lot of times you don't have anyone to support you because they haven't been there. It's really tough to support somebody when you really couldn't even imagine or you don't know the pain. So I am reaching out to women all over the country, trying to help them on their grieving journey as we come together. And then the second retreat is for all the women who already went, who all want to come back. It's a few, like Melisha said, she might not come, but there are a few that want to return. And so it's going to be an amazing time. I'll have to give you guys more updates on that as it starts coming about. But I just had to touch on the Heal and Hustle and the success of Heal and Hustle.
And thank you, Latasha, for
Yeah.
what you did, and it was amazing. So, if anybody that is grieving,
Mhm.
it's a great. I know it's going to be a healing retreat, and to help you with your grief. And I just know there's so many people that have lost kids and grandchildren, and that's a hard thing to do. So, I haven't been there. I did lose a child in miscarriage, and even though it was a few weeks old, it's still hurts me to my core that I didn't get to see my child to grow.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so let's move along before we start crying up in here. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about accounting. Number one thing for me in my business, I've been running Nurse Hustle Recruitment for 5 years now. And I started the first couple of years without an accountant, or a bookkeeper. Like, I was doing it myself. And I really, you need to know what you're doing. It's not something that you can just make up. If you want to turn and scale that business into a multi-million-dollar business, you need someone who is an expert in those numbers and an expert in bookkeeping. And bookkeeping can cost a pretty penny, but you can also find someone that is very cheap, since you don't have a lot of revenue yet. You're not turning that dollar yet. So find you somebody now at the early stages. So when you do start making that money, then the price creeps up, instead of finding a bookkeeper after you've made millions and now you need somebody to go clean up all of your stuff. That's what I did. Don't do that.
don't do that. Well, I can. I don't have a bookkeeper. I haven't made millions. I did make money, and I was I didn't. I wasn't real meticulous about my bank account and my books, but I was very thoughtful of making sure I kept my business expenses separated from my personal expenses, so that during tax time, I could make sure everything lined up, so that I could get all the tax benefits and the tax breaks that were allowed for me. And so that's what's important about being conscientious and being careful with your bookkeeping and your accounting, is because you could be leaving money on the table at the end of the year when it comes tax time. And so making sure you separate your personal and your business, that is important. So open up that business account. You don't have to normally put a lot of money in there, and you can funnel all of your transactions into that one account. And so that's key.
That is probably the number one rule when it comes down to bookkeeping. You must keep your personal bills, your personal expenses separate. Now, if it is a business expense, if people think just going out to dinner every day or whatever, you can always write it off. Well, that's technically not true. So, you can get away with some things, but you can't live your daily life on your business expenses and then expect to be able to write everything off without explanation. Everything needs an explanation. So as you're using your business card or your business bank account, making sure that you keep notes for, if you don't have a bookkeeper, making sure that you keep your own notes. And if you do have a bookkeeper, also making sure you keep notes, because they're going to ask you at the end of the year, what is this, Latasha? Latasha, what is this? And don't be like me, because my accountant will send me an Excel sheet full of what is this? So make sure you are making notes, because now I'm at the end of the year trying to figure out, trying to remember, trying to go back, trying to research, trying to this, trying to that. Keep track of how you're spending your business money. So at the end of the year, you're not scrambling. Soon as they ask you for something, you have a whole list of explanations, or you've already made notes on your bank account, because like Bank of America, you can make notes on that transaction to remind you of what it's for. So utilize the different tools of being able to track your stuff. So therefore, you're not being a basket case like your dear friend Latasha. Okay.
We've been there. We've all been there. But what you said is very striking, because as what we do is try to form habits, habits of getting up, doing our devotions, our morning routines and things like that. But so you can also get in a routine of how to track your finances. Put it on your calendar. At the first of the month, I'm going to make sure that all my bank accounts are lined up, instead of waiting to the end of the year, which is what I normally do. And so this year I tried to be a little bit more diligent at first, but then I moved and blah, blah, blah. But if you can go through those accounts routine, put them on a calendar, put it on your phone that you need to check your income and your expected income. And then, if you've got some CODs out there and people haven't paid, you need to know that as well too, because then you need to make calls or whatever.
What is a
Um,
COD?
um,
Cash on delivery.
cash on
Yeah.
delivery. And so a
So
lot of
especially only I said that because we're speaking to some people who are just trying to start businesses. So we want to make sure that when we're using abbreviations that we're really making you understand what we're talking about and things aren't going over your head. We want you to get all that you can get out of this, especially if you're just now starting off in business. Yes.
And sometimes in business, we want to, give our products and services away, which doesn't, when we look at our numbers, it's like, well, I charged this for that and I should have been charging that. So as entrepreneurs, don't diminish our worth. Don't diminish your worth. Charge what you can charge. Put those numbers in your accounting, in your bookkeeping, and be proud when you look at those numbers, when that income starts rising. And I think sometimes we're afraid to charge what we need to, but that helps with the bottom line when we're trying to make money in our accounting and our bookkeeping.
Yeah. Well, that definitely we'll have to talk about that later because a lot of times we charge what we know that we're worth, and the circle and the people that we deal with don't see our worth. So that goes into your marketing and that goes into finding your customer because 9.9% of the time, your people is not your customer. Let's talk about it. So don't worry about trying to lower your price for your people because your people ain't gonna buy it no way. So keep your numbers where they need to be. You know your worth, right? Know what your product is worth and know what your time and your effort is worth. Don't lower your price for people just to be lowering it. Trust me.
Trust
your
and
people
believe.
ain't your people.
What about taxes?
Yeah, taxes. Okay, so that's one of the things that as an employer, so me being a employment agency, right? Having a staffing agency, I have to pay taxes. I have to pay company taxes, plus I have to pay workman's comp, plus I have to pay, I've got to pay all these different insurances and all these different things. So if you're not looking and you're not budgeting all of these different things into your accounting, right? Knowing that these things are going to come out, your books are going to always be off. You're going to be in the red because you never accounted for all of the taxes that we have to pay. You got to make sure you're setting aside money for your uncle. He ain't my uncle, he may be your uncle. Listen, America's uncle, okay? You got to make sure you're setting money aside because they always want their cut. So inside your bank account, you can always create a different account, maybe like a tax account. So every month, as you're making money, you're putting money to the side because another business that I have, Raising Kings. So as I'm selling things, I have to charge sales tax because at the end of the year, I just got the letter today because the city wants their money too. So as I'm selling a sweatshirt, the sweatshirt may be $25, but I really need to be charging $27.99 because the taxes on that I have to pay the city for having this business. So you need to be setting aside money for that. Just because you made $5,000 and you have that doesn't mean it's all yours still. Remember, at the end of the year, somebody gonna want some of that money. So be a good steward of your money, and accounting and having that bookkeeping. All of those things will help you not be in the hole at the end of the year and have a huge tax bill.
Absolutely. I was going to say something. Also, too, the bank fees. Those bank fees will get you, and so you have to account for those bank fees when you are putting your taxes away too, and when you're charging your customers. That's an accounting because you got to make sure that that you're going to be making money on your sales, and so all of that should go on your income statement, your bank fees.
Which bank fees?
Well, like if you have any NSF and insufficient checks, if you have any, I don't know. Some people have there's different fee. Well, a lot of 3%. Like every time I use Stripe or PayPal, they take out a bunch of money before it even gets to me. Is that
so those aren't, well, yeah, that's not the bank though. That's those different
Oh,
services.
yeah,
So
the services fee.
Yeah, the different
Yeah.
services. That makes sense because
Mhm.
when you have $100 in sales,
Mhm.
the service that you're using, right, they want theirs too.
Yes.
Affirm. I used Affirm
Mhm.
for Heal and Hustle Retreat. Well, if it's $3,000, Affirm is taking $250. So
Mhm.
yeah, it may be beneficial for your customer, but is it beneficial to you? So you
Right.
need to make sure that you
Mhm.
account for that $250. 9 times out of 10, going up on the price of what it is to account for that money, or charging your customer and letting your customer know
Yes.
that there will be a 3% fee, and that's going to be on you because the service is there for you and not for me. Right. So
Absolutely.
yes, you're right. Accounting for all of those different fees. The NSF fees, I mean, we would hope that we ain't got none. So
Well, you know what?
I don't
I haven't, but you know
really
what? There's
account
some
for those,
businesses. Yeah.
but that makes sense though.
Yeah.
That makes sense though, to have that nest egg of different types of things like that. And then also one of my business accounts, actually, yes, they charge $16 a month for the account. So yes,
Yeah.
that is a bank fee. You
That
know
is
what I
a bank
mean?
fee.
So
Mhm.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so that's part of what you're accounting, what you have to account for when you are doing budgeting, when you are balancing your books, making sure that all of those things are, that you are recognizing and paying attention to those things. And what happens,
Yeah.
Tasha, a lot of times we're not paying attention. We're hustling. We're taking care of our clients. We're taking care of our family.
Oh
We're
my
doing
God,
this
you
and
are
we're
so
doing
right.
that. And then a
You
lot of
are
times
so
you look up,
right.
we haven't looked at our bank account, and you like, and then you have, I'm sure you've had it, you looked at it like, well, where did this charge come from? And I don't remember this charge. Then you're calling the bank. And so that's why it's important to look at those accounts, and you don't have to go back to your bank. Now, you remember a couple of years ago, somebody took $3,500 out of my business
I
account.
remember.
And
I
thank
remember
goodness
that.
I got it back. But if I hadn't been, watching those bank accounts and having that hair on the back of my head stand up. So, you got to be careful. There's scammers out there, and they're after your money, our hard-earned
Yes.
money. They don't mind taking it.
Yeah, and that's another thing when you're dealing with accountants. Remember that you want to get someone who is credible. You may want to get someone referred to you. You want to make sure that you read the reviews. You want to make sure that you have a good accountant, because an accountant, anybody dealing with your money can take your money. Okay. So just be sure that you are diligently watching their work and not just letting them do it, but also understanding them. Understanding what they're doing, right? So they're not moving your money out of your account, because when you give someone authorization to be in your bank account or deal with your bills and you don't know what they're doing, you could easily get ripped off. So just really be careful with that. But that is for 2025. Oh my goodness, honey. I done went through every credit card. I done went through these banks. I done found so many different things that are wrong with who is this getting this money from me? Then I go, I search it. I done signed up for something God knows how long ago. And I've been getting charged for this whole time. And so just be very diligent on what's coming out of your bank account, what's coming off of your credit card, because we get so busy, like you said, and you forget things. I didn't cancel. I know these people thought I was canceling so much stuff over the weekend because I didn't even realize that I was paying for all this stuff. And when your money get tight, baby, you go to looking for it. And I went to looking for my money this week.
You're like, out, X, gone. Don't need you.
Listen, and everybody I cancel, I send an email too, baby. I'm a businesswoman, so I send them all the email and ask for a refund as much as possible. They may not give it to me, but baby, I was asking for refunds. funds. Very nice and professional. Oh
Mhm.
my goodness, I didn't know, boo, boo, boo. And some of them gave me refunds up to 4 or 5 months. Yeah, so don't be afraid to ask for a refund as you're going through your accounting and your bookkeeping and you're seeing things that you didn't know that you were doing. Ask for a refund.
And the most of the time you can, and you can also
Mhm.
dispute some of these some charges on your billing, and
Absolutely.
they will um take it off and give you credit for
Absolutely.
it. And so yeah,
Absolutely.
you're doing that. Yeah, check it and check it twice and keep checking. Um
Mhm.
I was thinking about, the different tools that we can use. Now, some people use QuickBooks,
Mhm.
and you can either use an accountant or a bookkeeper for QuickBooks, or you could do it yourself. I haven't used QuickBooks. I really need to. You can use QuickBooks. You can use Google Sheets. You can do Excel. Are there any other accounting tools that you know of that people may be able to use, Tasha?
No, I use QuickBooks, which I don't use QuickBooks, but my bookkeeper, my accountant, my CPA uses QuickBooks. But I'm going to tell you that I feel like I need to take a class. I
Hmm.
think that in order to utilize something the correct way and get the best benefits out of it, even though I'm paying someone to do it for me, I need to know how to do it myself. So I really want to look
Hmm.
into taking a class because there's a lot of things in QuickBooks. QuickBooks is used for a lot of different things. They can make invoices, they can send the invoices, they can keep track of all the money coming in, all the money coming out. They keep track of all your credit cards, your bank account. QuickBooks is a great place to start, and it's very easy for someone who is trying to start their own bookkeeping. Maybe you can't afford to pay someone, so you want to learn yourself. You can watch videos on YouTube about QuickBooks that can teach you some of the basics. And then maybe as you get deeper, you can, learn more of the different resources that QuickBooks has. But I feel like QuickBooks is definitely a place to start if you want to start your own bookkeeping and keeping up, and you just upload your credit cards, you upload your bank account in there, and it keeps track of everything and keeps everything
Everything.
balanced. And then you use that at the end of the year. You get your P&L sheet, which is your profit and loss sheet, and that is what you would give to your tax advisor, because that shows everything that you made and everything that you spent. And then you keep track of all of the different expenses and why it's on your business sheet, right? But yeah, QuickBooks definitely is something that I would suggest for everyone. And it's like $25 a month to start. I mean, it goes up, of course, to pro and to corporate and all these different things. But starting off at the lowest level of QuickBooks would do you some justice for your bookkeeping and accounting. Absolutely.
There's two more that I've heard of, but I'm not real familiar. I'm just going to put them out there in case somebody would like to
Yeah,
research.
absolutely.
Wave is a software that can be used like QuickBooks, Wave, and FreshBooks for automation. So if you like to look into those, and maybe I'll look into those for myself. So I have no idea what they are, but those are there. So we gave you three softwares that you could possibly use to do your accounting.
Yeah.
And
And look
so,
up
yeah.
the reviews. Look up the reviews. A
Mhm.
lot of times people will write in their review why they're here. A lot of people say, oh, I was on QuickBooks, but I came over here because X, Y, and Z. So read
Right.
the reviews on each one. We'll put some links in the caption. We'll put some links below just to show you where you can find them at. And maybe they have free trials. You can do some research on each one, and hopefully you'll find some type of bookkeeping software that works for you.
All right, there's just a couple of things that we can also highlight and talk about on this important subject. This is helping me. Spend about 15 minutes a day reviewing last month's bank statement. And so that's not a lot of
Mm.
time, but I would say review it
Mhm.
weekly, but then really at the end of the month, go over those bank statements. They send them to you. I get them on my phone. I get them in an
Mhm.
email. And so I know when those bank statements go in, and then that's also too going to help that you don't have to do so much at the end of the year. Highlight one expense you can optimize. So one expense that either you can get rid of, or an expense that you may need to add some additional money into because it's of a benefit to you. And
Yeah.
so, like ChatGPT, you said you got the pro version. Well, I don't need it, but you spent the money to optimize your
Yeah, after I got rid of about four of the things, let's be clear. Because I'm telling you, you study buying stuff, you
Mhm,
study buying tools, you're not
mhm.
using them, they're not working for you, and we
Yeah,
continue to pay for them. So
right,
go through your bank statement, go through your credit card statement, and start canceling some of that stuff that you're paying for that you're not using. You
right.
must do that in
You
order
have to.
to grow, in order to save money. Find the tools that work.
Yes, yes. And so the IRS would have some good advice too, business tools. You can always go to the IRS to help. Um, you get some tools, the Small Business Administration. Those are agencies that are there for small businesses to help with the things that we're talking about. And so then you can talk with someone one-on-one. You can meet with someone in person, over the phone or Zoom to get the clarification to talk about your business and what your financial needs are in your business and how to best account for your income going in and out and to how to better bookkeep. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. And then also look into your local stuff like Score. Score is
Mm-hmm.
nationwide,
Score.
right? They
Yes.
will help you with your business needs, and that is absolutely free. Our Score out here in Springfield, Missouri does, different workshops throughout the year. I think a couple times a year. I think they have something coming up now. But yeah, just looking into Score, just like it sounds, SCORE, and
Mm-hmm.
finding a business mentor to help you with different
Yes.
things, and they literally will help you do everything. I've never used them,
Everything.
but Melisha,
I
you
have.
use
Mhm.
Score. Yeah.
I have
So
used Score before, and it's good. It's good. One of the things I did when I moved out here to the Seattle area is I joined the Chamber of Commerce. Some Chamber of Commerce can be really, really expensive, but the one here was very inexpensive, and it was something I can afford. And they give you a lot of resources too. And so, if you live in a place where you can utilize your Chamber of Commerce to help you with tools for your accounting and bookkeeping, use them as well too. So there's a lot of information, a lot of tools out there. We just got to be able to tap into them and figure out what we need for our businesses so that we are productive and spending money and keeping our money and not let it just go out the door willy-nilly. So
and that is what accounting is for. So you're not just spending your money willy-nilly like me. Okay. So accountant is what you need to be able to balance what you need. Because as a business owner, especially me, I had so much money. I was like, oh yeah, you get some, you get some, oh yeah, you get some too, right? So accountant will keep you grounded. They will teach
Mhm,
you what you need to know, and then they will also tell you no. And that's the biggest thing. You need someone who's thinking outside the box, someone who is not just allowing you to just do whatever you want with your money because it's your money. You need someone with knowledge of how is this going to help the business, right? That's
mhm,
what your accountant does. Your accountant is your brain when it comes down to your money, right? And then your bookkeeper is another thing. So your accountant keeps everything together and shows you and finds that there's a word for it, but finds basically puts your money on a table, for you, because the whole goal is to scale. And if you don't
mhm,
know how to scale, you're going to be spending money everywhere, and your accountant is keeping track. Well, you just got a tool last month. Well, how's that going? So you need someone who is looking out for you. And that's what your
mhm,
accountant does. It watches your money for you. And then the bookkeeper keeps track of how you're spending it as well. So they come kind of hand in hand, but
mhm.
also there are some accountants who don't do bookkeeping. They just kind of keep track. But I think they're all kind of like the same thing, though.
Let me ask you a question. Are there different accounting and bookkeepers that you can use for different fields? Like I'm in health and wellness, you're into nurse staffing, somebody might be in a lawyer
There,
or whatever,
it
or do
doesn't.
they know everything? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter the niche.
Okay.
Their niche is money. They don't.
Okay.
They don't care how you getting it. They are all about the numbers. They know the numbers, and the average business owner doesn't pay attention to the numbers.
Mhm.
We just
Mhm.
spend, right? We
Yeah.
want to make a bunch of money, but we don't really know how to spend it. And if we don't have someone who is savvy with the numbers, then we'll end up spending money willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly.
Right? Really? Oh my God, I spend so much money, and I don't have you have something to show for it, but you didn't make money. You know what I'm saying? The goal is to turn your money over. That's the
Right.
goal, right?
Mhm.
So if you're not turning your money over and you're constantly spending money, then something is wrong. So you need someone, a financial advisor,
Mhm.
accountant. You need to make sure your books are in order to even deal with the accountant, I think. So I think that's how it goes. Like keeping your books in
Mhm.
order, then the accountant keeps you from spending all your money up, but the bookkeeping keeps your money straight, kind of
Straight. Yeah,
sort.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes
You know what I
sense.
mean? So
Mhm.
yeah, but it's
Well,
all a learning thing. It's all a learning thing. We all have so much to learn, but it's all about spending the time and being consistent in learning, so you can scale. The name of the game is scaling the business so you can keep growing, or scaling it so you can sell it and you can make money
Mhm.
off of your business, right? And
Mhm.
move on to the next one. And now that
Mhm.
you've learned how to scale this one, you sold it, then you move on to the next one and make another one. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So yeah, this has been the ABCs of business. This is our new
Yeah.
season, and we've been talking about accounting and bookkeeping. And before we end, let's talk about how that plays into self-care, because we're still all about self-care. So I would think if you know that your accounts are in order, that's going to help your stress level. That's going to keep you from, feeling anxious and overwhelmed. And if you got some extra money in there, a little bit, you can take some money and do some self-care, go get a massage or a facial. So
Yeah, and charge that to the business for sure, okay? Because of the stress that it takes to run the business, you need to be writing off those massages. So get you a tax expert to show
yes.
you what you can write off and how to write it
Mhm.
off, and what you need to
Mhm.
make sure, if you ever get an audit, because everybody's not going to get an audit, but you also need to make sure that you're keeping up with your books and the documentation for your books, just in case you ever get an audit, right? So I feel like all of it is self-care, because
Mhm.
this is my livelihood. So if
Mhm.
I'm doing good in business, then that helps me, period, right? But if my
Yes.
business is not doing good and I can't live the way that I need to live, or things are then it's so hard mentally to move through this world. Like I've been in the house for 2 weeks because business is not good. Let's just be transparent. Shit is
Mm.
going wrong. So it puts you in this fog, right? It gives you this functional depression. You don't think you're depressed because you're functioning, right?
Mhm.
And depression comes in so many different ways. So as
Mhm.
things are falling apart and you're still, people can't tell, but on the inside you're breaking, right?
Mhm.
That's not good. So business
Mhm.
and self-care goes hand in hand, because I have to be able to take care of myself. I have to be able to take
Mhm.
care of my family. And with my business as an entrepreneur, that's all we have. We're not getting a check from anybody.
Mm-mm.
This
Mhm.
is it. So
Mhm.
whenever I make something happen, that's where the money comes from. If
Mhm.
stuff ain't happening, then obviously I'm not doing good. And you try to be as optimistic as you can. You try to smile through the pain. My CPA put up something and said that success in business, your daily routine. It's not about a daily routine. It's about the fact that we must have pain endurance and the ability to take feedback. Because mind you, while my business is struggling, I'm enduring this pain, right?
Mhm.
And at the
Mhm.
same time, I need to be able to take feedback from somebody who's already done it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone who
Mm-hmm.
has some knowledge about what I'm going through, someone with some great ideas to help pivot me, because everything coming from me is more stress. So I need to be able to reach out and have that tribe of people who are trying to get to where I'm trying to get to, or that we're trying to get to the same place, or you already made it, something. You need to be sitting with people who can pour into you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
Yes.
that's where success comes from. It's not about
Mm-hmm.
it's not about a routine doing the same thing every day, because doing the same thing every day ain't gonna bring you money.
No.
So
Gotta be inventive. Thank you for your, being candid, because I think this is what we're about, is trying to help business owners. And if we can't, I think with our self-care last year, we put it out there. A lot of things we talked about are things that we struggle with, the things that
yes.
we're going through. And my business, it's I'm at a cross section because I've moved, and so I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. But I'm still a business owner, and I'm still learning, and I don't want to make the mistakes that I've made in the past. And so my self-care is to not get stressed and to do what I can and not do what I can't. You know what I'm saying? And so it's all about self-care.
Entrepreneurship is hard, and
It
it's
is
about
hard.
that grit. It's about that hustle. But at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, we have to keep that balance and making sure that we are taking care of ourselves, because entrepreneurship is a everyday, 7 days a week, 10, 15, 20 hours a day job. So
Yes.
you must take care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you won't have a business, because you won't be here anymore. Entrepreneurship, I'm sure, gives so much stress and so many heart attacks each year, it doesn't make sense. So as we are women and we are taking care of families and we're trying to grow our businesses, we must make sure that we're putting ourselves first, and just taking that time, even when you can't schedule your self-care, whatever you got to do, make sure that you're spending time for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, this was a good
Yeah.
show. It's good seeing you. Miss you, my sister.
I
The last time I
know.
saw you, I was like, anyway.
Oh, she ain't gonna talk about it, but yeah, she was in Bali sick, poor thing. But I'm glad that you're better, and I
I'm
hope
better.
that you didn't allow Bali to deter you, because it's a beautiful island, a beautiful place, and I know that being sick kind of make you feel some type of way, but I mean,
Well, Bali's beautiful. I enjoyed myself. What I enjoyed most about Bali was watching you.
oh,
Watching you flourish, watching you be in your element, watching how people responded and react to you, watching how you cared for people. And I saw you bloom and blossom in a way that I think you matured exponentially just in the little
wow.
time I was there. So yeah,
I
that was
I
the joy.
I appreciate that. I definitely I feel your words, because that's how I felt. Being my second time, on the island, I totally feel, like I said, like it's my second home. And it is where I feel like I really found myself. I found myself in Bali, and I'll never forget that. Yeah.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
I'll meet you in Thailand. We'll go to
Okay.
Thailand. I already talked to Gwen. We said we coming to Thailand.
Okay, so Thailand is where it's at. So yes, definitely. That's probably where I'm going to be living at very, very soon. So it's such a pleasure to see you. It's been 40, almost 45 minutes. Let's go. Okay.
Let's
I will
go.
see you. It is the first Sunday of the year. I'm so excited. Cheers. I have nothing else. I'm going to make me another drink and relax myself. Go repot some plants. I bought me a couple of growth lights for a couple of my big plants. I'm gonna hang my growth lights
How's
up
my
and
baby
just,
doing?
oh,
How's she
she's
doing?
beautiful. She's so
Oh,
beautiful. I'll have to call you. I'll send you a video of her. She's absolutely beautiful. She's blossoming and blooming and growing. And you gave me 3 plants. No, you gave me 4 plants, and they're all doing amazing. Yeah, they're
well,
all doing
good. I'm
amazing.
glad you're taking. So when you were in Bali, okay. Well, anyway, we'll talk about that later. I'm glad you're
Oh,
doing good.
Ariana didn't kill them. Okay, she only killed one, and it wasn't yours. Okay, bye everybody. Happy business to everybody.
Happy
Prosperous
New Year.
businesses. Bye bye. Happy
Amen.
New Year.
Thank you for joining us on the She Club podcast. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and share your thoughts with a review. Stay connected. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the She Club Podcast.